Hello everyone, hope you all are doing good, and today we are going to discuss about cognitive process. Under cognitive process there are different types are there. In the first video we had a discussion regarding attention, and this is about perception. So there are different types are there. In the last video we have discussed what is attention, and I will add the link in the description box. You can see what is attention and types of attention and remaining things about attention. And second type of cognitive process is perception, and today we are going to discuss about perception. So cognitive process means a group of process. While the time of cognitive processing, our brain runs many operations at a time, based on the figures, based on the position, based on the situation. When we talk about this cognitive processing of our brain, we are not just talking about this motor activities, we are not just talking about the sensory activities, but instead of that, we will talk about all the informations what we have gathered and using to operate effectively in the world. Our brain is doing, or the brain does enormous activities during the time of cognitive process at a time. Taking information, transforming it, storing it, restoring it, recovering it, getting back and putting back, neural processing. So a lot of process will take place. So I will tell you an enormous process will take place during the time of cognitive process. For example, when you go into a grocery store, when you are in a shop, okay, you're making a shopping for 1 week, means you will look for the items what you need, you will select, you will check the price, you will check the expiry date of the products, you will check which is the less price one, you will check the discounts. After doing everything, you will come back to a conclusion and you will go to the cashier, you will exchange money, you will take the change from them. If the card using, you will check the pin numbers. Lot of things will take place within a particular period of time. So a speedy process we can see in cognitive process. So I will tell you, cognitive process is a group of process which include thinking, gaining knowledge, remembering something, judging others and ourselves, critical thinking and problem solving. So again telling, I've told you already, an enormous level of work our brain is doing. So we can say a high level brain process we can see in cognitive process. And studying this cognitive process is a very influential branch of psychology, and that branch is known as cognitive psychology. Again, I'm just telling you the types again. There are different types of cognitive process are there: attention, language, learning, memory, perception and thought. In the last video, in the first session of cognitive process, we had a discussion regarding attention, and today we are going to discuss about perception. What is perception? Perception is a sensory experience of our world. It is the sensory experience of our world with the help of our sense. There are two processes there in perception, such as recognizing stimuli and response to the stimuli. So first we have to recognize the stimuli. Second thing is you have to respond to the stimuli. So two processes are there in cognitive process. Perception creates an experience of the world and it allows us to act within our environment. So perception is the process which helps us to experience this world. It helps us to create an experience of this world, and it allows us to orient ourselves, or it allows us to act within our environment. So there are two processes are there in cognitive process perception. They are recognizing the stimuli and response to the stimuli. So you have to recognize the stimuli first. After that, you have to respond back to the stimuli. So two processes we can see perception. There are 5 types of senses we are using for this perception. I have told you what is perception. It is a sensory experience. So perception is a sensory experience of this world with the help of senses. So there are 5 senses we have. What are all the 5 senses? These are all the 5 senses: touch, sight, sound, smell and taste. So these are all the 5 senses. So with the help of the senses we are experiencing the world. Okay, that is known as perception. Next, Steps in perceptual process. What are all the steps we can see in perceptual process? Already I've told you there are mainly two steps we can see. First you get the stimuli, then you manage the stimuli. So while detailing looking into the steps in perceptual process, I will tell you first step is get the environmental stimuli. Get anything. Might be through your vision, through your touch, through hearing something, through light. Okay, so get this environmental stimuli, anything from the environment. Okay, any color, a sound, anything. See the attended stimuli. See the attended stimuli. That means from the lot of stimulus, you have to particularly pick the attended stimuli. You have to take the particular stimuli. Then next process what will happen means transduction or transport of the stimulus to your brain. Okay, then neural process will take place. The nerves will work out to understand the stimuli. All these things are happening without our knowledge. Actually, within a fraction of a second it will happen also. But see how many steps are taking place to understand and experience the world through our senses. Then perception process, that is conscious or awareness stage, that there is a color, there is a light, there is a voice, so that awareness will take place. Then recognition, that means the brain will categorize from different colors or different things. The brain will categorize the particular stimuli which you want, or the brain will categorize and give a meaning to the image you see. After that, action will take place. That means some motor activity like happy, sad, sounds, etc. So someday after seeing the particular stimuli, you are after hearing that or after touching that or after feeling, you may feel happy, you may feel sad, you may feel you will show some motor activity. So these are all the steps we can see in perceptual process. So get the environmental stimuli. Get the environmental stimuli means all the environmental stimuli are there. From that, specifically pick what you want. Then transport of the stimuli, that neural process will take place, then perception, that awareness will come, then our brain will categorize and giving a meaning to the image what you want to see, then action will take place, like you will feel happy, you will feel sad, you will feel cry, you will make sound, you will do some motor activity, etc, etc. So these are all the steps we can see in this perceptual process, and it will happen within a second, within a fraction of a minute. So this sensory experience of a world is known as perception. Next, the Gestalt principles of perception. There are some principles we can see under this perception psychology or while studying perception. Among that, first thing is Gestalt principles of perception. In the 20th century, Max Wertheimer, a psychologist, published a paper on individual perceived motion in rapidly or speedy flickering static image. So the psychologist published a paper regarding perception. While doing that, one thought came to his mind that perception involved more than simply combining the sensory stimulus. So he started to think it's not a simple thing. And this idea led to a new revolutionary movement within the field of psychology known as Gestalt psychology or perception psychology. What's the meaning of Gestalt mean? Gestalt means form or pattern. So in the coming slide, I will explain what is what perception or Gestalt psychology. Then you will easily understand what is this form or pattern and what is the meaning of perception. It's not symbol thing, it's not just flickering something, it's not just rapid movement of some stimulus, it's not simply combining some sensory stimuli. So the first principle is closure principle or figure ground principle. According to this principle, we will segment our visual world into figure and ground. Figure means the main object and ground means the solid surface. If you see this principle, if you see this picture, you will easily understand what is figure ground principle. Figure ground principle or closure principle. This figure ground relationship principle, or according to this principle, we tend to segment our visual world into figure and ground. We will segment our world, our visual world, into two segments, like figure and ground. Figure and ground. That is figure ground relationship principle or closure principle. Figure means the object. In this screen, what is the object? This is the vase. So this is the object or a person. That is the focus of visual field. So here the focus of the visual field is this. Focus of the visual field is this vase. And background means the solid surface. And this ability to interpret the sensory information depends upon what we label as figure and what we label as ground. In particular case, although this assumption has been called into a question, there are a lot of debates are happening about this closure principle or figure and ground principle. Another Gestalt principle is proximity principle. Means our brain is organizing sensory stimuli into meaningful perception. The principle saying that or objects that are closer to one another tend to be grouped together or one. So if you see this picture, you will understand how this proximity principle is working. One block of dots on the left side and 3 columns on the right side. Actually the same picture we can see in 2D. So the principle will assert that things that are close to one another tend to be grouped together. Things that are closed tend to be grouped together. That is known as proximity principle. So some words we are seeing means here one block of dots, one the left side. So the words or the sentence which is close each other, we will make it as a sentence. So one is there, so we will make it as one sentence, one word, then block, another word. So like this we will perceive the things. That is known as proximity principle. Otherwise, if you see this picture, you will understand more easily. So the things which is closer to each other, we will make it as a group. That is known as proximity principle. Then another thing is similarity principle. That is another form of proximity principle only. In this, what we will do means like to tend to be grouped together. The things that are like to tend to be grouped together. For example, watching a game. Okay, you're watching a game. While watching the game, some people are with blue dress and some players are with green dress. Means our brain will assume that blue color dresses are in one group, green color dresses are in another group. So tend to be grouped together. So that is our brain's work. That is known as similarity principle or similarity perception principle. Next is continuity principle. Continuity principle is saying that in this picture we are likely to perceive or look or think continuous smooth flowing lines rather than broken lines. So in two way we can think this picture. We can look into this picture. So broken line, middle and center. But first what our brain will think means smooth flowing lines rather than broken line. That is the other Gestalt principle. That is a continuation, a good continuation and closure always think our brain first rather than the broken lines. So these principles of closure state that we recognize our perception into complete object rather than parts, series or parts. Next is another closure principle. This principle of closure states that we organize our perception into complete object rather than series of parts. So here this picture, we will perceive this picture or circle as complete circle or complete rectangle rather than a series of segments. So here you can see series of segments. In this picture, you can see series of segments. A segment, a segment, a segment. Here nothing is there. But our brain will perceive this as a continuous object rather than a series of parts. That is another example for closure principle. These are also principles which we are studying in cognitive process or Gestalt principles of perception. Next, we are going to see the factors affecting perception. There are different factors we can see under that. Some personal characteristic features I will tell first. Attitude of a person. My attitude will define my perception. Personality of the person. While looking a person, the personality of the person, that means what? The sum total of behavior of that person will design or define his behavior. So personality of a person will definitely affect the perception of another person. Next, motivation, interest, past experiences, expectations. All these factors will affect perception because we are experiencing this world with the help of our senses. So, based on the attitude of the person, based on the personality, based on the motivation, based on the interest, based on the experience and expectation, definitely the perception also will change. Next, some other factors. Among that, novelty, motion, sounds, size, background, proximity, similarity. So these are all some other factors affecting perception. So while looking into something, definitely novelty, something strange, or what is the movement, what kind of sound, what is the size, what is the background, what is the proximity and similarity, all these things will decide our perception. Then situational factors. Based on the situation also, our perceiving capacity will be different, our perception will be different, like time and where working, what is the social setting of the society, what is the environment or surrounding, what is the past experience, what is the mind stage and during the particular period of time, what is your mental stage or mental status. Then your knowledge about the particular situation or particular thing also will decide the perception. Then now we will see some errors in perception. While seeing something, definitely chances of errors also will be there. It is not always possible to perceive the image exactly as it is. So you are seeing a violet color. Sometimes that won't be violet actually. Some lavender, some color, a proper violet color like that you will think. So there are chances of coming errors also. So knowingly or unknowingly, definitely the mistakes will arise and errors will come into the field such as individual assumption, time, discomfort or background, lack or less of clarity, confusion, conflicts. In all areas we can see error. And what are also major errors means we will see these are the major errors like illusion, hallucination, halo effect, stereotyping, similarity, horn effect and contrast. These are also major errors we can see in perception. First thing is illusion. Illusion means already in many slides I have described what is illusion. Again I'm telling illusion means the false perception. False perception. Sometimes the person will mistake a stimulus and perceive it wrongly. With example I will tell you, it will be easy for you. If you are in dark, a rope is mistaken as snake or vice versa. Snake is mistaken as rope. Okay, you are in a dark place, you are standing or you are in a dark place, and if you see a rope, sometimes you will mistake or you will in a false way you will perceive the rope as a snake. Vice versa also will happen definitely. Sometimes snake, sometimes you will think that is a rope. That is illusion. That is a error which we can see in perception. Second thing is hallucination. Hallucination means sometimes we perceive some stimulus even it is not present. This is known as hallucination. So sometimes some person, some object, some voice, some light, okay, that won't be there also we will feel that it is there. And hallucination is a major clinical manifestation or sign and symptom of schizophrenia, but it is an error of perception actually. So perception means, so hallucination means sometimes something we perceive or some stimulus we will perceive even if it is not present also. Sometimes someone is standing in somewhere like that you will feel. Yes, standing in some shadows you will see in the world. Even the stimulus is not there also. That is another error of perception. Next is selective perception. Selective perception means the situation when we selectively interpret what we see based on our interest, environment, attitude, etc. So, some picture you are seeing, if you are interested to see what flowers in the picture means, you will selectively take the pictures from that, from the main section, from the main scenery, you will take the pictures, the flowers pictures. If you want to see scenery with some river in that, you will selectively take the river from that scenery. So based on our industry, based on the attitude, if you are selecting, if you're perceiving something, means that is known as selective perception. Next is halo effect. Halo effect means the individual is evaluated on the basis of some quality. I mean positive quality or negative quality, or based on some character. For example, any single characteristic feature such as intelligence, appearance. Based on that, we will assess him. We are evaluating a person, means that is known as halo effect. That is another error which we can see in perception. So selective perception, this halo error and all frequently happening in every day-to-day life, and we can see this if you keenly look into the society. This thing we can see. So selective perception means based on our interest. Okay, so it's a tendency not to notice and more quickly forget stimuli that cause emotional discomfort and contradict our prior belief. I'll give you an example again. Teacher have a favorite student. Because they are biased in a group favoritism, the teacher ignores the student's poor attainment. So favorite, he or she is favorite. So if though he is failing in exam, though he is not performing well, he will be or she will be in the favorite section of teacher, because he or the teacher like the student. So teachers, the students position in the favorite list of teacher's favorite list. So based on the interest of the teacher, the teacher will perceive the student. Though he is doing mistake, though he is failing in the subject also, she don't mind or he don't mind. So that is known as selective perception. Halo effect means, again I'm telling what is halo effect. We are evaluating something based on the interest of our interest. That is halo effect. Again I'll give you one more example. So a positive, based on the positive impression, a tendency for positive impression of a person, company, brand, etc. Okay, so based on the name, based on the particular things, we are assessing someone. So that is known as based on some particular quality we are assessing. So the company is having means all the products are good. Like that, some people will tell. So the company is having name means all the things what the company is giving is good. So based on the company, we are assessing the product, not based on the product. That is known as halo effect. So based on the company, we are perceiving the product, not based on the quality of the product. And hope you understand. That is halo effect. So another thing is stereotyping. Stereotyping means judge someone on the basis of a preoccupied belief or opinion based on the group to which they belong. I will tell you an example, then easily you will understand. People from India, they don't know English. Western speaking country people may tell they don't speak English because they're not from English speaking country. They have different language and regional language, so they are not good in English. Like that, I thought a preoccupied belief or opinion based on the place where they are staying. That is known as stereotyping. Another example, South Indians will eat only rice and they don't eat any other food. So that is another preoccupied feeling. So South Indians, they don't eat much roti or some parathas. They'll eat only rice. Another error is similarity. Similarity means often people tend to show more interest or intimacy towards the people who are similar to themselves. So attracted to the people, those who are similar to them. That is known as similarity error of perception. Next thing is horn effect. Horn effect means individual is completely evaluated on the basis of a particular negative feature observed or perceived. I will tell you an example, then you will understand. The gentleman is not coming for a weekend party, is not a good person to make company. So in a group, one person is there, particular group, okay, particular team called for a weekend party, and one person, he didn't come for the party, and that person will be considering as a bad person because he didn't come for the weekend party. So based on the particular negative quality, we are completely assessing the person. Okay, another example again I will tell you. Okay, those who are coming late in the class, are not at all studying, not at all study. They don't study at all. Okay, those who come to the class will fail in the exam. Or those who come late to the class will not study at all. So based on one negative quality, we are completely and entirely we are assessing the person is that is known as horn effect. We are perceiving the person is that is horn effect. Horn effect is another major error which we can see in perception. Maybe we also will do this horn effect sometime in perception. Then contract, the tendency to rate people based on other people rather than individual performance he or she is doing. Very simple way you will understand if you read this example. Okay, in a group, okay, teamwork, a group and some team tasks will be there. Okay, they have a particular person is doing lot of hard work. He or she took lot of effort. Okay, and the particular person also getting an assessment and evaluation based on the total team performance, means that is known as contrast. So tendency to rate people based on other people. So what the group is doing, based on the group evaluation, we are giving evaluation to the particular person. So we are not giving respect or some preference, or we are specifically not evaluating the particular person who worked or who performed well in the group. That is another major error which we can see in perception, and it is happening. Okay, if you are looking into your day-to-day life, in your workplace, in your class, in the place where you are doing or performing, maybe you are a victim of this thing. So contrast is another error which we can see in perception. Another thing, evaluating the employee performance based on the whole team performance. So far we had a discussion regarding what is perception, and we have seen different errors what we can see in perception and how the perception process is taking place. And I've told you that the perception is not a simple thing, and it's not just simply experience in the world. And hope you understand what is perception and what is the process is taking place in perception, how we are perceiving the thing, and uh, how we are categorizing the thing or observing the thing with the help of different kinds of closure principles, similarity principles, figure ground principles, proximity principles, etc. etc. Hope you understand. Thank you.